Hey everyone, it's Joel from Geek Studios, and this is your special mini charge episode for Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. You know, when we have breaking news, we love to bring it to you. That's because all day today, Sebastian and I have been following closely the news coming out of the New York Auto Show, and I was pleasantly surprised to see an announcement from Kia. And what Kia just did on that stage at the Javits Center isn't just a product launch. It's a shot across the bow of every legacy automaker trying to figure out how to make EVs affordable. Like we've talked about earlier, 2026, we kind of figured would be the year of the affordable EV. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the 2027 Kia EV3, which Kia officially announced will hit the US markets later this year. Now, this is a car that we at first were not expecting to see here in the US, but Kia has decided to bring it here. We're looking at the EGMP magic, why 400 volts might actually be a good thing for your wallet, and how Kia is planning to dominate the $35,000 price bracket while others are still struggling to break 50,000. Let's dive in. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of stoked about this announcement because our family is a two Kia EV family. So excited when I saw this on the screen this morning because the EV3 looks like a prop from a Ridley Scott movie. It's got that baby EV9 energy. Now, usually when a car is this boxy, it has the aerodynamic profile of a refrigerator or maybe a Cybertruck. But Kia is claiming a drag coefficient of 0.263. Now, that is incredible for a subcompact SUV. From my look at the high-resolution press photos, which you're going to see pop up on the screen, they've done this through some invisible engineering. First, active air flaps in the front bumper that open only when the battery needs cooling. Also, the roof spoiler, it's massive, extending way out to manage the air coming off the back. In the underbody, well, that is almost entirely flat to give it a more aerodynamic look. It's a bold look. Kind of reminds me of, I don't know, like a Kia Seltos, the gas car. In a world where every EV is starting to look like a melted jelly bean to save range, Kia is leaning into sharp lines and star map lighting. It looks expensive, even though we know it's the entry-level model. And there's one thing we know about Kia. They can design cars, and they design good-looking cars. All right, so now let's kind of get into the numbers, because this is where the EV3 actually wins or loses. So Kia confirmed two battery options that are coming to the US market. A standard battery, that's a 58.3 kilowatt pack. That's going to get you about 220 miles of range, kind of similar to what you're going to get with the Nero right now. This is your commuter special. This is what you're going to drive in the inner cities and things like that. And then you have the long range battery. So this is the big one, 81.4 kilowatt pack. So it's a little bit bigger, I believe, than the Kia EV6 pack. Kia is swinging for the fences here with a target of 320 miles on a single charge. Kudos for getting up over 300 miles. Still don't have EPA estimates. That's just Kia's estimates. Now, a quick nerd alert for the techies. Unlike the EV6 and EV9, the EV3 is going to use a 400 volt architecture instead of an 800 volt. Why? Well, we're going to chat about that in a minute. Let's look at some of the performance trims. So you're going to get a front wheel drive, which most models will be front wheel drive, and that's going to get you about 201 horsepower. You're also going to have the GT trim. So they officially announced the Kia EV3 GT, dual motor, all wheel drive, 288 horsepower, and neon green brake calipers. It's basically a pocket rocket. So love those brake calipers. So let's talk about what I mentioned before, and that's the 400 volt versus 800 volt debate and why Kia is kind of dropping down to 400 volt when all the other cars are 800 volt. So this is where the internet comments are already heating up. You know, some videos that I've watched, some Reddit posts. The EV6 and EV9 use an 800 volt architecture system, allowing those lightning fast 18-minute charges. The EV3 is only going to use a 400 volt. Why? Because 800 volt components are expensive. Remember, 2026 is the year of the $35,000 EV. By sticking to a 400 volt, Kia can likely keep the starting price under 35 and honestly still charge from 10 to 80% in 31 minutes. If you've been watching our podcast, all these new car announcements we've been doing over the last several months, all these cars are charging around 28 to 30 minutes. For a car in this segment, that is more than enough for the average driver. Unless you're road tripping 500 miles every single weekend, you won't miss the extra 10 minutes saved at the charger. Now, let's pop inside. Looking at the interior walkthroughs from the show, Kia is leaning hard into two things: sustainability and space. They are using something called, quote, must-have sustainable items, end quote. We're talking recycled PET bottles in the seats, headliner, and floor mats. But it doesn't look recycled. It looks premium, kind of like, that inside of a Volvo look. The feature that everyone is talking about is the sliding console table. It's a motorized tray that slides out from the armrest. If you're a digital nomad or just someone who needs to get more work done while your kid is at soccer practice, this turns a driver's seat into a workstation. This is something I would love because a lot of the times I spend 30 to 40 minutes in my child's carpool line and I work. And having that little motorized sliding console would be perfect for someone like me. And then there's the tech. The triple screen display is standard. Now, one thing I noticed in the press kit that hasn't been talked about much, Kia's AI assistant, and this will be powered by ChatGPT tech, allowing you to ask the car complex questions like, find me a vegan restaurant near my destination that has a 4-star review, and would actually plot that route. Now, Kia's current system like that is not very good. You ask it questions and it just doesn't even answer you now. So I'm glad Kia's kind of partnering with ChatGPT to bring Kia's AI assist, which I hope trickles down to the other models. Let's look at the why behind this car. Since GM killed the original Bolt, there's been a massive hole in the market for high-quality, long-range EVs under 40K. And if you remember from previous episodes, the Bolt is only coming back for a limited time, and Chevy has already announced that. So yes, the Bolt is starting to hit some lots, but it may not be around by the end of the year. The EV3 isn't just competing with the Volvo EX30, which technically it's not anymore because, if you've been paying attention to our podcast, Volvo has discontinued the EX30 here in the States. But it still has competition with the Equinox EV. But you also have new EVs coming out from Subaru and Toyota, which will be in this range. So, even from my desk here, hundreds of miles away from the Javits Center, the EV3 feels like the most important announcement of the year. We didn't get much other EV news from the New York Auto Show. It's not important because it's the fastest or the most luxurious. It's important because it's making things a whole lot cheaper. It's giving you a mini EV9. It's the car that says the early adopter phase is over, and now we have more affordable EVs out there with good range and decent charging. Now, I do have one concern, and that is wait times. If Kia prices this where we think they will, the demand is going to be astronomical. We saw what happened to the EV6 when they first came out. It happened to me, markups and year-long waits. I hope Kia is ready to build these by the hundreds of thousands. I want to hear from you. Does that 400-volt architecture charging speed keep you from buying one? Or is 320 miles of range enough to make you trade in your gas SUV? Reach out on socials or leave a comment below. All right, that's your mini charge episode for today. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and consider becoming a paid member. Just $5 a month, and you get early access to all of our content while also supporting our channel. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your audio podcasts, tap that follow button and leave us a quick rating and comment. It really helps the show grow. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay charged and stay geeky.